Hi there, I'm Chris. I'm not a chef. Like you, I'm just trying to get through the coronavirus while in lockdown. But I do know a lot about food and the food business and food safety. So I'm here to help you have a better time and learn more so you don't get freaked out in the kitchen while you're being holed up in the house. Okay, right now I want to talk about food safety. I mean, obviously we're cooped up in our home, so the point of that is to be safe. So it doesn't make any sense for you to not to be safe in the kitchen because, well, the last thing you want is someone to be sick, need to go to the doctor or the hospital. So this is the first video I'm making is on food safety because it's probably the most important thing that you should probably understand some of the basics of. Okay, so essentially with food safety, what you want to do is there's a certain temperature range that you don't want foods generally to be in. So they either need to be cooler or warmer. So when you cook something, you want to make sure, get it up to 130, 135, and the things of casseroles 165. You know, I don't expect you to have a biotherm that you're checking the temperature of the inside of your meats because they'll say that in recipes and things. You're probably not at that place, so don't worry about it. Just make sure you get it hot. Cook with high heat. Make sure you're getting things high in temperature. If you're cooking something and you can touch it and hold your finger there for a second, it's probably not hot enough. Like if you're making a steak or a burger or chicken or anything like that, then you should probably cook it longer. Same thing with cooling down. You want to get things down to like the 40-degree range or less. And you want to do that in a couple hours. So the quick way that you can cool things down is putting them in an ice bath. If you have to, if you have access to that. If not, cool water will be fine. Put something in a container, turn your sink on just a tiny bit, and let cool water just dribble in there and slowly overflow, and it will cool things down. That's probably one of your most important things. The other thing is storage. You know, leaks happen. You get like one of those little trays with the with ground beef on it or chicken or something, and it leaks. That happens. It's going to happen. So one thing you want to do is when you're storing like meats and seafoods and things that you're keeping in your fridge, you want to do it in an order of importance so that something that is very dangerous for you health-wise, if it leaks and gets on something, is below the things that are not as important. So in your fridge, what you want to do is have a hierarchy, and the way that will help you think about this without having to memorize anything is just imagine what something would smell like if it went bad or rancid, and the worse you think that would be, the lower it should be in your fridge and in your settings. So you know, where you put it vertically. So, you know, things like chicken and seafood should go towards the bottom, because if you imagine those things, it'd be pretty nasty if they went bad. And then your porks should be above that, and then your beefs above that, and then you can do you know, fruits and vegetables and things higher up. One of the things also you need to remember and think about in your fridge when you're storing foods is temperature. It's generally going to be cooler at the bottom of your fridge than it is at the top by a few degrees. Sometimes not very much. Some fridges are better than others, but that's something to keep in mind, that if you have something that needs to be cooler or cool down faster, like if you're trying to warm something up, putting it lower in the fridge will make it cool down faster than if it's at the top. Now, having said that, if you put something warm in the fridge, it's going to warm up your fridge some. So you generally don't want to do that. That's why I mentioned the ice bath. Put things in water or an ice bath to cool them down a little bit, get them down to 70, 60 degrees, and then put them in your fridge. Do not put something that's 100 or 120 degrees, something you just boiled or pulled out of the oven. Don't put it in your fridge to cool it down, because that can be pretty dangerous, depending on what it's next to and what it is. So just don't do it. You know, the same thing with cooking steaks and meats and chicken breasts and things like that. One of the things you can do is with touch. You know, something will firm up as it's cooked more and more. So if you want your steaks and chicken well done, then the firmer they are, the more well done they are. And if you squeeze them and the juice if juice comes out, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If juice comes out and it's clear, not red or bloody looking, that's cooked. It's cooked all the way through. Now, if you squeeze something and juice comes out and it has a red tint to it or is very red, it's not fully cooked all the way through. So if you don't want that steak medium rare medium, keep cooking it a little bit longer. So that's kind of a quick 5-minute video on keeping your health things in mind, so that you don't get people sick. Also, when you're using utensils, think about what you're touching with things, in that same regards of the hierarchy. So if you just got through using a cutting board or a knife with something that would be high on your stinky list if it went bad, then don't move to and use it for something that is higher up on that list. So don't take a knife, cut chicken with it, and then use it to cut fruit without washing it first. And in fact, with the coronavirus going around, it's probably not a bad idea that you're basically washing things more often than you normally feel would be prudent. Anyways, just to be safe. Same thing with your hands. So that's kind of just a real quick rundown. I want to go into more details of little things, so hit the subscribe button and you can catch up on all those other things, but this is just a quick overview on some tips and tricks on how to be aware of food safety while you're in the kitchen. Thanks.